picture this. It's 1981, right? Sunsetting over Seaside, California. Looks peaceful, but like beneath it all, there's this family with a dark secret.
Ooh, I'm intrigued already. What kind of secret?
A 13-year-old girl, Mary Louise Day, vanished. Gone.
Vanished, just like that, no trace.
No Amber Alert, no big searches, no pleas on the news. It's like she was never even there.
Wow, that's chilling to just disappear.
Except not for everyone. Her two younger sisters, they never forgot her.
So they were left with this ghost in their lives, a silence surrounding her absence.
Exactly. Welcome to CrimePod Castle's Twisted Crime series, by the way. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff.
You know it. Always got to support the true crime community.
Today, we're diving deep into this case. And it's less about what happened and more about, well, what didn't happen. Why was Mary's disappearance met with such silence?
Right, like a missing child usually triggers a huge reaction. Panic, searches, media frenzy. But with Mary, nothing.
It's almost like someone wanted it that way. And that leads us to the family. The dynamics there were complicated, to say the least.
Complicated how?
Mary, along with her sisters, Kathy and Sherry, spent their early years in and out of foster care.
Okay, so not the most stable start in life, right? That can really impact a child's sense of security.
Then their mother, Charlotte, got custody and remarried a guy named William Hoole. Strict military man, becomes their stepfather.
Ah, so a blended family trying to figure things out, plus the added pressure of military life. That's a lot to handle.
Sources say William was very controlling, especially towards Mary. There were even whispers of abuse.
And this is where things take a darker turn, I'm guessing.
The night before Mary vanishes, there's a huge fight between her and William. Family dog got sick, and he was convinced Mary poisoned it.
Oh, wow. So a volatile situation. What happened after the argument?
Mary disappears. Gone.
That's too coincidental to ignore.
And to make it even weirder, years later, William claims he was, get this, possessed by a demon that night.
Hold on, a demon. Come on, you're pulling my leg, right?
I wish. He doesn't deny hurting Mary, but insists it wasn't him, but this demon controlling him.
Okay, so either he truly believed that, or it was a way to deflect responsibility. But either way, it throws another wrench in things.
Huge wrench. But back to the family's initial reaction. Not only did they not report Mary missing, but they actually, actively silenced her sisters.
Silence them? How?
Forbid them from even saying her name. It's like they were trying to erase her completely.
That's horrifying. To lose your sister and then be forbidden from even grieving her openly? That's a special kind of cruelty.
For over 20 years, that silence continued, until 2002, when Mary's younger sister, Sherry, as an adult, filed a missing person report.
Wow, so she finally broke the silence, huh?
Yeah, she gave Mary's case a voice again after all that time. But think about the challenge for investigators now, picking up a case over 20 years cold.
Yeah, memories fade, people move, evidence is lost. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
They started by searching Mary's last known home, hoping for any clue about what happened.
Makes sense, right? Like maybe the house itself held some answers. So did they find anything?
They brought in cadaver dogs. Those dogs trained to sniff out human remains, even after decades.
What did the dogs find?
They hit on a spot. In the backyard, near a tree.
Oh, this is getting intense. They dug up the spot, right?
They found a small girl's shoe.
Just a shoe, nobody.
Nobody, just a single shoe left behind like a sad little clue.
That's bizarre and so unsettling. What did the investigators make of it?
They were stumped. False lead, deliberate misdirection, or something else entirely.
Either way, the mystery just got a whole lot deeper.
And the focus shifted naturally to the parents, William and Charlotte.
Right, they were the last to see her, and their behavior afterward was, well, let's just say it was off.
Definitely off. Their silence, the way they acted, it all screamed suspicious. So the investigators questioned them.
And what happened? Did they crack? Did they confess?
William, who is now a prison guard in Kansas, agreed to talk. His statements were all over the place, denials mixed with weird excuses. Then he drops this bomb.
Another bomb. This case is full of them. What did he say?
He claimed to have been possessed by a demon the night Mary disappeared.
Wait, are we back to the demon again? Seriously.
Seriously. He admitted to hitting Mary, but said it wasn't him, it was the demon controlling him.
Okay, so was he truly a believer, or was this just a calculated way to avoid taking responsibility?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Tough to say for sure.
What about the mom, Charlotte? What was her story?
Charlotte, when questioned, claimed Mary was a runaway, said she had a history of disappearing, Like it was no big deal.
But if it was no big deal, why the silence? Why pretend for years that Mary didn't exist?
Right. It just doesn't add. And that's what really bothered the investigators, the
Yeah.
feeling that she was hiding something big.
So we have a creepy backyard find, parents with conflicting stories, and suspicious behavior. It was looking like a tragic ending was about to unfold. And then, don't leave me hanging.
7 months after all that, Mary Day is found alive during a traffic stop in Phoenix, Arizona.
Wait, what? After all those years, after everything we've just talked about, she just shows up. That's crazy.
It was a twist nobody saw coming. But was it really a happy ending? Or just the start of an even stranger chapter?
Welcome back to our deep dive into the Mary Day case. Last time we were all like, wait, she's alive, after she seemingly vanished in 81, right?
Can't talk about a plot twist. But I gotta say, it felt less like a happy ending and more like, okay, now what?
Exactly. And here's where things get even weirder. This woman saying she's Mary, she had zero official records, no driver's license, no credit history, nothing.
So basically she was a ghost, even in the present day.
Pretty much. Like she'd been living off the grid for what, over 2 decades?
Major red flag, right? I mean,
Yeah.
was this really Mary back from the shadows, or were we dealing with, like, an imposter?
And the timing of it all, just a few months after those strange interviews with her parents, it all felt a bit too perfect, you know?
Like someone was pulling the strings.
Maybe. But the investigators, they had to play it smart. They needed proof, undeniable proof, that this woman was who she said she was.
Enter DNA. That's always the big reveal in these
This
cases.
is the gold standard. Think of it like a unique blueprint each of us carries, like a fingerprint, but on a molecular level. It can tell you who's related to who with, like, almost 100% certainty.
So they tested this woman's DNA against Mary's mom, Charlotte.
Yep. And drumroll, please, perfect match.
Okay, so mystery solved. End of story.
Officially, yeah, case closed. But unofficially.
Unofficially, what do you mean?
Well, for those closest to the case, especially Mary's sisters, there were still these doubts, lingering questions.
But why? I mean, DNA is pretty much the ultimate proof, isn't it?
Sure, in a lab, yeah. But remember all those inconsistencies we talked about? Those didn't disappear just because the DNA matched.
You're talking about the gaps in her memory, the whole
Yeah.
Southern accent thing?
Exactly. Mary's sisters remembered this family inheritance, a pretty significant detail that this woman had zero recollection of.
Like a chunk of their shared past was just missing.
Right. And the accent. She claimed she'd spent some time in the South, but linguists analyzed her speech and said, nope, that accent's way too ingrained to have developed recently.
So we've got science saying, this is Mary, and then these other details saying, hold on, something's not right.
It's like the universe was playing a cruel joke. Mary's sisters, they wanted to believe it was her, but something just felt off. Like this woman, even if she was their sister biologically, was somehow different.
It's giving me chills just thinking about it.
And then, well, things took another turn. Mary, woman claiming to be Mary, she emails one of the detectives working the case.
What did she say?
She confessed, straight up said, I've been lying about who I am.
Hold up. After the DNA, after seemingly reuniting with her family, she admits to lying. I don't even know what to say.
It was a curveball, to say the least. Put the investigators right back to square one. DNA says one thing, but this confession.
It's like a riddle wrapped in an enigma and then sprinkled with even more mystery. So what did they do? How do you even untangle that mess?
They had to re-examine everything, every single piece of evidence, every statement, every little inconsistency, and they brought in the big guns. Yeah. Forensic facial recognition.
Okay, now you're just showing off with the fancy science terms. For us regular folks, what is that?
Think of it like those Face ID things on your phone, but on a much more advanced level. It compares specific facial features in photos, even across different ages, to see if they belong to the same person.
So they used it to compare photos of Mary as a kid to this woman now.
Bingo.
Mm.
And the results were pretty convincing.
Convincing how? Give me the details.
They found a near-perfect match, like 99% certainty that it was the same person in both sets of photos.
So science wins again. Case closed. For real this time.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But even with all that, those nagging doubts, those unanswered questions, they just wouldn't go away.
Welcome back to the show. We're wrapping up our deep dive into this strange case of Mary Day. Just to recap for anyone tuning in, we've got this disappearance, total silence from the family, and then boom, she reappears, but with like a million question marks swirling around her.
Right, right. We've got science saying, yep, it's her, but then all these details that just don't line up. Like, is this really Mary or is it something, well, a bit more sinister?
Yeah, it's almost easier to believe the demon possession story at this point.
Yeah.
But, we like to deal in facts here, so let's circle back to those unanswered questions that just keep bugging everyone.
First one that comes to mind, that shoe. The one the cadaver dogs sniffed out in the backyard. I mean, if it wasn't Mary buried there, what were those dogs picking up on?
Right. It's like my brain goes to all these dark places. Was there another victim we don't know about? Or maybe, I hate to even think this, maybe it was planted there to throw everyone off.
It's definitely a possibility. And then there's the parents, William and Charlotte. Their stories were all over the map, and that silence after Mary vanished. It just screams, cover up.
Exactly. And if they were involved somehow, well, that opens up a whole new level of messed up. What were they hiding? What really happened that night?
And then we have Mary, the woman herself. Why create this whole fake life only to confess to lying? Was she forced into it by her parents? Was it some twisted plan of theirs all along?
Or what if she was running from something, trying to erase her past and start over? But then why come back at all? Ugh, my head's spinning.
Mine too, trust me. Even with the DNA and the facial recognition, this case just doesn't sit right. It feels unfinished, you know?
It's like one of those puzzles where you force the pieces together, but the picture still looks all warped. I guess that's the thing about real life. It doesn't always tie up neatly with a bow.
Nope, it sure doesn't.
Yeah.
But even though this case is officially closed, in a lot of ways it remains open, those questions, they linger. They make you wonder about the limits of what we can ever truly know.
So what are we left with? I mean, what's the takeaway for our listeners after diving into all this craziness?
I think it teaches us that sometimes the journey is more important than the destination. The search for truth. That's what matters. Even if the answers we find are messy, incomplete, or even unsettling.
And that, even with all the fancy tech and science, sometimes the human element, the emotions and motivations, that's the real puzzle.
Yeah, you're right. Like, what if Mary did run away? What was so bad that she felt like she had to disappear completely? That's a question that sticks with me.
It makes you think about the hidden stories in every life, doesn't it? The things we keep buried, the choices we make when we think we have no other options.
It's a reminder that everyone has secrets. And sometimes those secrets have a way of bubbling up no matter how hard we try to keep them down.
Well, that's a chilling thought to end on. But, it's the kind of stuff we true crime fans love to ponder.
Exactly. Keep those brain cells working. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to follow and subscribe to Crime Podcastle. We've got new cases, new mysteries, new chances to explore the dark side of humanity every single week.
And check out our YouTube channel for extra goodies. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and maybe keep an eyelight on just in case.